does this mean for volunteering? Well, it's dead easy to get fairly depressed about looking at all of that, the space that people are going to have for volunteering. So what do we do about that? Well, let's try and match these together. And I'm going to get you guys in the last 5 or 10 minutes to do a little bit of thinking. What we need to say is, okay, on the one hand, we have people's lives. And what I've been trying to do is give you an idea of how people, particularly under the age of 35, but more generally, how their lives are changing, okay? Because it's those people you have to persuade to fit into their lives volunteering. And what we actually have to do is market volunteering, because we're in competition now. If somebody has a free Saturday afternoon, what you have to persuade them is that volunteering is a better use of that time than all the other options open to them. That's, if you like, the crux in a nutshell. That's what they need to be doing. So you then need to say, okay, if I'm going to get somebody who doesn't have that sense of I should volunteer. Now my son volunteers every Saturday at the Oxfam shop. And actually, it's fantastic because I'm not quite sure what he gets out of it, but he's very keen on doing it, he's very committed, brilliant. However, I think that kind of behaviour is more the exception than the norm. I did offer to pay him, and that worked to begin with, and he's just kept on doing it. So sometimes it's just a parent saying, actually, I'd just like you to get some work experience and so on. Oxfam sure, a good place to do. But we need to work out how, when he has all those other things he can do on a Saturday, whether you're 18 or 24, what it is that you might offer in terms of your volunteering that would make that use of time, that 4 hours or whatever else it may be. Now, of course, the other thing is that people are increasingly working. So you need to get the working time into it. So why do people volunteer? Let's go back to basics. And actually, they have a huge variety of motivations for volunteering. They have time to fill. It's undoubtedly one of them for certain types of people. They're bored. We've just done some research, and actually boredom was one of the things that particularly younger people said would be good. If you don't earn much money because you're doing serial internships, actually you can't spend all of your time shopping and socialising and going out with friends. So how can you replace that time rather than just sitting around being utterly bored? And is volunteering something that you can do that with? They want skills. And skills actually, particularly again with some research we've done under the age of 35, skills and work experience and CV building is particularly part of it. Absolutely important. They want to improve their community. And again, that's quite an old-fashioned way of doing it. But the more you create that sense of community, the more then what you actually end up doing is saying to people, okay, why don't you want to help us decorate that park, make it look better, and so on. And again, often that provides the catalyst for certain other things to happen. They have a sense of duty. The older generation in particular has a sense of duty for motivation. And they want a sense of belonging. We all have a really deep-seated need to have a sense of belonging to something. And one of the things that has changed over the last decade is the sense of where we live being our community has often been replaced by our workplace as a sense of community. And so workplace as a sense of community is particularly important, and that's why workplace volunteering has huge amounts of attractions for some employers. But it also means when you don't have, so if you imagine a young person's life, at university, that's their community. When they leave and they're struggling to get a job, that community is much harder to recreate, but people want to be part of that community. You go to any Oxfam shop, you go to any National Trust property, you go to a range of places, there is a volunteering community with that. What does it look like when you help somebody meet volunteering for 2 minutes? What happens when you start to think about taster sessions? One of the groups that we found in our recent research was a group who said, I'm not sure I'm the right kind of person, I'm not sure I would enjoy it, I'm not sure I have the confidence to do it. So how do you get people to get the equivalent of an open day at university, the equivalent of come along and try these things? No commitment, no ratcheting up, you're going to stay for a year, you're going to have all of this time, all of this whatever. What are the fringe benefits? Is that about when you may meet the love of your life? But actually, if you're going to meet the love of your life, you need to do it with people who are like you. And I know that sounds dark, but not many 32-year-olds meet the love of their life if everyone else's average age is 68. So you need to say, actually, if you're going to be the sense of this community, what you may need to do is start again. And again, what we see with particularly groups of volunteers, member groups and so on, is older people who go, we had a 34-year-old come along, but they didn't stay very long, they didn't seem that interested. I'm not sure young people today are anything like as committed as they should be. And of course, what's happened is the 34-year-olds come along and they've said, looked at it and said, ah, these people are nothing like me. They aren't on my wavelength. They don't talk about the things. They, I wouldn't go down the drink with them, etc., etc. And therefore, there's a complete different community. And what churches have started to do is to have church plants, because they know if you want to change the nature of the people who go to church, you have to start again from scratch. My sister and her husband, who's a vicar, did a church plant. They went to start a church in order to get a different community from scratch, because they knew they would never get it to work with the mainstream church, which had an audience which was going to be hugely resistant to change itself. So sometimes, if you want to get a different kind of volunteer, you have to start again from scratch. You have to do the equivalent of a volunteer plant to have a different community, because people who are looking for the kind of fringe benefits that for them are absolutely critical, if they're not going to be volunteering with the kind of people they're going to think, these could be my mates, I would love to be with these kind of people anyway, then possibly they're not going to be the right kind of person. Okay, so if you want young single people to volunteer, we have to move to them and not vice versa. That's the real thrust of what I'm saying. You have to understand about their lifestyles, you have to understand about the kind of ways they're living, and actually we have to work out what it is about what you have with your volunteering opportunities that would make them say, wow, that is the best use I can think of for my time. I think I'm really going to enjoy that. I do really enjoy that. I get real benefits out of it. The organisation needs to work out how you fit in with their lifestyle, not they fit in with your workplace. And that's perhaps one of the fundamental shifts in volunteering we need to get young people doing, because the rest of the world does exactly that. The rest of the world fits in with what the young person wants or the single person wants. And so when an organisation comes along and says the opposite, we want you to fit in with us, guess what? Sometimes that isn't very attractive. Okay, I've run out of time. I hope that's been useful. I hope you have a great rest of the day. But what I encourage you to do is to go away and think about how you can understand young people and get them to volunteer. The opportunities are enormous, the rewards are fantastic, and actually when you get it right, the benefits for you and your organisation and young people could be enormous. Thank you very much.